I wanted to do a little commentary on this video I found. The channel's called Decoy Voice. Really good channel, funny guy. Shout out to this guy, he's got a really great channel. You guys should all go check it out. But yeah, video credits to this guy. Anyway, I wanted to do a little deep dive on this video because there's just so much to unpack within it, and it does a really good job encapsulating all of the reasons why I no longer wish to be associated with liberals or leftism as a movement. Anyway, let's get into this.
A brown man wearing his country's flag was just assaulted by a group of white people demanding he take it off or they will hurt him. Now this sounds like what the left-wing media has been warning us about for years, except these were deranged leftists attacking a conservative for wearing the American flag.
Take it off! Take it off! Take it off! You're not going to! Take it off! It's more! Take it off! Take it off!
Okay, so right out the gate, what's liberal about what you see in this footage here? We have a guy who's clearly of a different background, right? But also clearly loves the country he lives in, America. Not where I'm from, by the way. I'm an outsider, but I'm just giving my perspective from what I can see from what's happening right now. Why this guy's just trying to walk down the street. It happens to be in Minneapolis, which is an area of heavy protest at the moment. And he's being attacked. He's being berated by fellow Americans who would normally be on his side. If there were a conflict in his part of the world where he hails from, I'm sure they'd be all up in arms about that as well. But basically, they're on your side until it doesn't suit them anymore. And that's one of the main reasons why I can't stand to be associated with this crowd whatsoever. Also, you can hear a guy at the very end there, he shouts out the "you're a Nazi" word. I hear liberals chucking around that word as well as the word fascist like it's going out of fashion. They're constantly saying these words, and I don't even think they know what these words mean. And I'll give you an example. And I thought a lot about this when the whole Charlie Kirk thing happened, because that's a word that they always called him. He was always being called that word, always being called a fascist. And I look at it this way. Charlie Kirk, for example, was targeted because so many people disagreed with his ideas surrounding certain topics. They may be controversial to you, they may be not. I agreed with a lot of what he said. I disagreed with a lot of what he said. And the things I disagreed with the most were the opinions he held strictly because he was a devout Christian and I am not. So to me, in essence, he was targeted, attacked, and murdered because he was a Christian, and the left celebrated that. So who's the Nazi now, okay? Because that's exactly what they did. They persecuted people for their religious beliefs. That's what they're doing. So I don't think they get to throw that word around the way they do when, I don't think they're fully thinking through what it is they're saying and what the implications are.
As anti-ICE activists are now patrolling the streets, demanding everybody pledge fealty to their mob or be mercilessly beaten.
And he's very right about that. The situation in Minneapolis is, as of now, to these liberals, you must be on our side. If you are not on our side, we will persecute you, we will attack you, and we will make you pay for not being on our side. That's not liberal. I'm going to read you a quick AI overview from Google of what it means to be liberal, okay? To be liberal means supporting individual liberty, rights, and equality, often through government action to ensure fairness and opportunity, emphasizing personal freedom, democracy, human rights, and tolerance for diverse views. So, where does that fall into what we've just seen there? Okay, so individual liberty. He should be free to walk down the street wearing an American flag jacket or whatever that was, right? Rights and equality. He should have the right to do those things in an equal sense that everyone else in that crowd does. I like how it says often through government action to ensure fairness and opportunity. That's where democracy comes into play. If you don't like what's happening in Minneapolis, if you're opposed to the ICE situation, you live in a democracy. You need to vote into power the people you want to push the progress you want for your country, right? You don't go out there and take it by force. That's not democracy. That's the opposite of what democracy stands for. And that's the opposite of what it meant to be liberal, as far as I remember. What about, human rights? That's a big category in there as well. He has human rights. You're infringing on his human rights by physically attacking him just for wearing a garment of clothing walking down the street. And tolerance for diverse views. Clearly, his view differs from yours. He's got a diverse view. You're not being very tolerant of that, are you?
As it started with old women asking photographers for evidence their SUV isn't an ICE vehicle, to now accusing random tech employees of being ICE agents.
I'm sorry, I have to talk about that clip because I saw that separate from this video when it happened, when it first went viral. Just some guy who happens to drive a GMC Suburban, probably one of the most common vehicles you'd find in North America, a white one at that, doesn't even look like a government vehicle. He gets his vehicle surrounded by a bunch of liberal leftist women who demand to go through his vehicle to ascertain that he is not working for ICE. It was like a photographer or something like that. And this poor man felt compelled to pull over to the side of the road, allow these women to do that, and then explain to him as if he owes them that why or how he's not ICE and that he just drives that vehicle. And I remember he says at one point in that video, I drive this vehicle. I can't help that. And the lady has the nerve to say to him, you can help that. You could go rent another vehicle. As if he should have to do that because you and your group of friends you hang out with are inconveniencing your city this way. It's his responsibility to then go make it easier on you by renting a different vehicle. Like it's so extremist at the core of it, and they don't even realize they're being exactly what liberals should detest.
Then why do you care? I'm just trying to drive my life. If you're not with us, then you're against us.
We do custom apps for a whole bunch of companies around Minnesota and the country.
Why are you filming?
Because you're filming us.
Do I look like an ICE agent?
Yeah, you look like
Holy f***ing Christ. The way you guys are, I don't support ICE either.
Then why do you care? Then you should say,
I'm just trying to enjoy my lunch.
This poor man, he's a software developer or something, pleading to be left alone, surrounded by imminent violence, as far as he knows, and they're all blowing their whistles in the background. I think they do that to signal that ICE is in the area or something like that. Poor guy's just an IT guy having his lunch break, getting berated by these maniacs. He says, I don't support ICE either. She goes, then why do you care that we're doing this to you? You shouldn't have to explain. He doesn't owe you anything. You came up to him to disrupt him in his lunch break. He just wants to be left alone, and now he's forced to explain to you why he's there in that situation. Like, no, nobody owes you that.
Even going after anybody that just appears masculine.
Are you ICE? No. Do you like ICE? Say ICE! Say it! Say it!
That poor guy, he literally says like, no, I'm not ICE. I'm not what you're against here. And the guy still goes on the attack. He verbally assaults him, say it, and then, curses him out just for existing. He's just walking down the street existing.
You ICE or nah? ICE, right? That's right. Say it proud. Say it proud.
The subtle cell phones will never stop, as simply having a job informs them that you're not on the same side. As they try to use the power of the angry mob to scare you into compliance, just like that other left-wing movement that destroyed entire cities on behalf of liberal lies. But unfortunately, sometimes their mob beats members of their own team.
Police!
Let him up.
Okay.
He's one of us.
Okay, good.
You alright, dude?
You alright? Come on, breathe.
He's one of us.
How do we know? How we know?
I was with him earlier.
Why you get ran out earlier?
I don't know. He's one of us.
I'm with them.
I mean, yeah, so this clip brings me back to an idea I was thinking about earlier. This poor guy, he's there protesting with a lot of them. He's one of them. And I'm guessing because he's wearing a camo jacket or something, they assume he's a conservative because I guess there's a uniform assigned to it, as you've seen at the start of the video there. So they beat him up. They attack him for it. And, after he's already had the shit kicked out of him, he's on the floor. Fortunately, he gets saved by one of his buddies there. But I wonder if that guy's going to go home at the end of the day and question his steps leading up to that moment, maybe question the ideology altogether and what it's become. Because from what I can see, especially from where I live, this behavior on behalf of leftists, on behalf of liberals, is actually pushing people more to the other side. It's doing the exact opposite of what they want it to do. Same with these protests, right? They're doing it to put a stop to what they believe is wrong. But I think Trump, the person they dislike so much, is going to have to take action because of this, the same way he did in LA. They're almost like a Streisand effect. They're turning it into something much bigger than it would originally be. And personally, I think that's what they want, that they want it to blow up. It's like social terrorism in a way. They actually want this to happen just so it turns into something bigger, so they can then point the finger, they can point the blame even more and say, look what this guy did.
To which the local sheriffs had to come in and rescue him from his alleged allies.
You guys rolled my window down. Oh, he's all bloody. Yeah. Is that Jake?
Oh, so the sheriffs had to save him. So even when someone who recognized him was trying to explain to the group, oh, he's on our side, they still didn't buy it. Because once they get started, it's kind of hard to stop these people. They're like rabid dogs. It's impossible.
As sadly this will always happen within these leftist angry mobs, you can't expect law or order from a group specifically out to dismantle it. We, again, saw it with the BLM rioters smashing out the windows of their supporters.
Why are you? We're on your side. We're on your side. Holy.
They're giving a thumbs up to them, their fellow comrades outside the window. And what do? They get their windows smashed out. Because the people on the floor, they're not looking for friendly gestures. They're out there looking to antagonize. And anything that signals them, even the slightest, they act. They act so quickly before they think. I saw another video the other night, a bunch of these guys breaking into the back of what actually was an ICE vehicle. And what they find in the back of that vehicle is a safe. So they work together as a team, they break into the safe, and when they crack it open, they realize there's an automatic rifle inside of it and a bunch of rounds. And strictly the sketchiest looking people from the crowd scrambled for that like it was a death race. They were pushing each other over, gimme, 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 mine, grabbed up those weapons, and they ran off down the block, never to be seen again. That is terrifying. That weapon is probably going to be used, or likely to be used, in an unnecessary death, and it's just fucking terrifying that the people around them are they're with a bunch of people that think they're sane, that think they're doing something good, but a couple people sneak in there that clearly have ill intentions, and everyone else is just supporting them for it. Mob mentality.
But the naive idiots think they can thumbs up their way into safety, always eventually get harmed by the mobs they themselves helped empower. But sadly, sometimes the leftists get it right and actually attack who they're looking for.
Medical help. He needs mental help. Mental help. The bleeding is natural from Nazi ears.
And unfortunately, law enforcement was nowhere to be found. The mob actually tried to end a right-wing influencer, as Jake made an announcement he would be burning their religious book outside City Hall, to which he was quickly surrounded by a sea of angry leftists, even needing to save some lady also being attacked, only for him to be dragged down into the crowd.
I think they're pulling him out.
They're pulling him out. They're pulling him out. Leave! 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 Leave!
Eventually getting mercilessly attacked, where I can't show it here, but several videos captured him being beaten by basically everybody. And as he was eventually able to walk away, he reported he was actually stabbed by somebody, to which another angle shows if it wasn't for his vest, he definitely would have been ended. Now, of course, it isn't smart to go somewhere like Minneapolis to burn that book, but the same way I don't like it when someone burns the American flag, I still think it's an American right to do it. But somehow in an American city, your freedom of speech is no longer protected, as the leftist mob will literally beat and try to end you, and it wasn't necessarily even to try to stop him from doing it, as even when he was fleeing, they kept beating him.
Exactly. Now, kind of a stupid thing to do if you're in Minneapolis during this whole political situation. But the point Decoy makes here is, as an American, you should have the right to do that. Whether it offends you or not, you should have the right to do it. It wasn't that long ago you could get away with doing something like that in America if you so choose to, if you chose to do so. Now, we've imported all sorts of radical ideologies from other parts of the world, and the left, the liberals, soak that shit up like a sponge, and they project that onto you. Suddenly they believe in these radical ideologies, and you must be physically punished for doing something that you, in the eyes of the law, have the freedom to do. What America stands for is, whether you like it or not, you have the right to do something like that. If you don't like it, protest me, debate me, prove me wrong. But you don't get to use violence just because I'm doing something you don't agree with. I think it has more to do with the fact this guy was probably a right-wing YouTuber. Clearly, it doesn't take much to set these guys off. Wearing an American flag while being in America is enough to set them off. Similar situation going on in the UK, by the way.
That's him! That's him! Is that him? Is that him? Yes! Open the door! Oh my God. Drive!
It's really disappointing that there were no police to protect him, and knowing in Minnesota, if he used any two-way tools to defend himself, I wouldn't put it past the local DAs to put him in prison forever, solidifying that in deep blue cities, the leftist mob dictates your freedoms. Whether you're a right-winger practicing free speech, or you're a tech employee getting a coffee, the angry mob controls you.
For the international viewers watching, if you're wondering why there's no police there, Minneapolis it's inside of Minnesota's a very blue state essentially. So this state essentially sides with all the shit that's going on. They side with the protesters. They'll do whatever they can to help the protesters. America's very divided like that, not just on the individual level, but on the state level. And like you said, the DA's office, if that guy were to use force to defend himself from those people, the district attorney probably would have sided with them and put this guy who was getting beat in jail for it.
Now at some point, Minneapolis police came out to dish out some light shoving.
You hear them yelling shame, like it's Game of Thrones, yelling shame to the police officers. So they would much rather have it, the police just don't come out at all and allow them to wreak havoc on their own city and their own population. Again, I find it so funny that they throw the word Nazi or fascist around when really it's them behaving like the Gestapo here.
And even though the National Guard was seen just outside the city, it seemed they never were deployed, despite the reporting that there are now 2 army battalions on standby, and they're likely going to need it as these activists are now arriving armed.
Terrifying scene. The dude's just chilling on the back of his car as traffic goes by, holding his AR-15, just waiting for something to happen. These are the type of instigators that they're just there waiting. They can't wait for that moment to cause chaos. Social terrorism.
I really hope this won't end in violence, but with how Governor No Balls Walls and Mayor Afraid fail to do anything, this will likely continue to get worse until President Trump is forced to intervene, which is exactly what happened with those other anti-ICE riots that went on for weeks over in LA, as so-called Minneapolis activists on hyper-left Reddit are telling each other to record farewell videos in the event they are ended, and they're actually doing it.
This is a message from my mom. If I am executed by ICE officers today, it will not be because of anything that I did.
False. If you were executed by ICE officers that day, it's because you made a decision to insert yourself into a situation where something like that might happen. You have free will. And this is a fully grown woman, clearly not the most educated, but this is what baffles me about it. They play these mental gymnastics with themselves and they get themselves all hyped up, and I think they honestly believe in their hearts the things they're saying, despite them being so blatantly wrong.
This is a historical moment for me.
And I don't know what's worse, that an information desert like Reddit, filled with bots and censorship, is telling activists, get out there in the streets even though your life is at risk, or the fact that these useful idiots are reading this astroturfed nonsense and saying, yes, I accept those terms. And that's not even the stupidest thing they're doing.
Demoralizing ICE by telling them that you're gonna sleep with their girlfriends is historical. It's called pulling an Axis Sally. Axis Sally was this radio personality during World War II who tried to demoralize the enemy by saying things over her broadcast. It was all Nazi propaganda, but the Allies hated her. So let's all think about pulling an Axis Sally and telling ICE we're gonna their girlfriend.
That video style, she's so frantic, she's so scatterbrained, and she actually thinks she's accomplishing something there, but she just sounded really stupid. And I know she'll look back on that one day and be embarrassed. She'll delete that silly video. It wasn't even a good burn. It wasn't even a gotcha. It was just stupid.
For a group that's allegedly fighting fascism, they really use a lot of fascist strategies.
Well said. My sentiments exactly, buddy.
As I don't want to be too mean and say, I have yet to see a single lady at these anti-ICE protests that I would be worried about them stealing our wives, because that detracts from the fact that they call their right Nazis, then turn around and get giddy about doing exactly what the Nazis did to Americans. You'd think they'd realize the irony, but that would require thinking, and they don't get to this point if they knew how to think.
Okay, so very well said by Decoy, as usual. In summary, within this video were a few of the evidently endless list of reasons why I want to separate myself from what it means to be liberal. Now, I grew up in Canada almost my entire life, always very liberal. It's a very liberal country, and I was from the most liberal part of that liberal country. Since then, I've moved abroad, I've traveled the world, I've seen things differently, and I've been able to form opinions for myself. And I like to think I've been able to break free of this trap that everyone else seems to be in. Everyone's, fed by their own tailored algorithms that are getting them all pumped up and all hyped up on one specific ideology, because that, believe it or not, is what pays for these companies that do that to you. So people just need to try to break free of the box that they've been put into by their environment and these tech algorithms and the people around them, and just try to think a bit more freely. Now, I'm going to make a lot more videos like this because there's a lot more videos like that for me to do commentary on. And in summary, I detest what liberalism has become. I think there are ways to be what it means to be liberal without doing what you see in this video. And these people are just a prime example of what you should definitely not be if you believe in those ideologies. Now, with all that said, it doesn't mean I don't still stand for all of the things it means to be liberal. I just stand for doing it in a better way than what you've just seen there. Like, I know that is possible. It's been possible for the longest time. It's been done by old school liberals who are still around today, and those are the voices you need to listen to. It's gotten to the point now that I don't even personally identify as liberal. I think I'd fall somewhere right down the middle, maybe even a bit center right. But anyway, I'm going to find a lot more videos like this. I'm going to do a lot more commentary just to speak my mind. And I do hope you guys tune in. Let me know what you guys think about all that in the comments. If you disagree with something I said, let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'm here to share and I'm here to learn. Big shout out to Decoy Voice on YouTube. Big fan of his channel lately, as I said. This is the first video I've uploaded, and I was just kind of freestyling it. I've not rehearsed anything. I just kind of want to get my thoughts out there in a free form kind of way and not really think too much about it. But, I just want to get a little bit more politically involved, a little bit more politically active on the internet. And, because that's what the internet's good for, right? It's a good way to channel your voice, get your opinions out there, riff off of other people's opinions, and grow as a person. And hopefully I can maybe help other people grow too. So yeah, drop a like if you want to, or drop a dislike if you want to. And yeah, see you guys on the next one.